Hello and welcome to the Baller Sports Dialogue Draft Special. It's your co-hosts Brandon Deutsch and Grant Mona here today to talk some sleepers. Obviously, the top guys: Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, Brandon Miller, Amen Thompson. But also some sleepers. We got a couple picks. This is a really deep draft, Grant. I really like it, top to bottom. I think a lot of people are focusing on Victor and Scoot and Brandon Miller, and it's like, yes, there's a drop off after those three to Thompson, and the rest of the guys. But I think this is a draft where you can get an Amari Bailey late in the first, who's going to turn out to be a really good player.
Derek Lively.
Or a Derek Lively or a Kobe Bufkin that the Lakers are going to look for at 17. A Jordan Hawkins maybe in the lottery, who I think can be a really good player right away. I think there's a lot of value in picks in this draft. And I think something we're going to see, which we've been seeing a trend in recent years, is a lot of future second-rounders traded for now pieces, like a 30th overall pick.
The Finals MVP was a second-rounder this year.
Yeah. No, it's about scouting. It's about scouting. And, there's a couple guys. I know who you're going to bring up. You sent me a video of him the other day, and he's a great prospect. But I wanted to start with the top guys, because we talked about this in our last podcast. Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson. I think Scoot is explosive, first step, superstar within 4 years. That's not to say Miller can't be a star to superstar. I think he'll be very good in the league. But I think Scoot is going to be that game changer player. And when I'm drafting, I want upside. I think Scoot is a little more upside. Okay. And that's why I would select him too. But I think it's going to be Brandon Miller. We discussed this in the last segment. But I wanted to hear your thoughts on 4, because a lot of people are saying Amen Thompson to the Rockets. But they already have Kevin Porter Jr. They have Jalen Green. That's 2 guards. But they have Jabari Smith Jr. Do you think they shock people and take a wing? Maybe a Taylor Hendricks with the 4th overall pick, or Cam Whitmore?
No, I've been watching a lot more film on Amen Thompson, and I really love what I see. And I know the competition wasn't as good, the league that he was in. It wasn't as great as overseas in a professional league like that. But if you look at the raw skills that he has, the twitch ability, he has like the twitch of Jason Tatum, but the length of like a Brandon Miller, which is kind of crazy. Like this guy he's kind of like an athletic marvel, in my opinion. So you do already have Jabari Smith, so it could kind of be redundant in terms of like the play styles. But I just think like you can't pass on a guy that's so athletic at his size. Like Amen Thompson at his size shouldn't be moving the way he is. Like he can finish around the rim like a Brandon Miller, but like you can get him at that value at 4. I don't know if you can pass on that to get a guy like Taylor Hendricks. Like say what you want about Taylor Hendricks, but like Amen Thompson has the ability to be kind of like a Paul George, but like Amen Thompson's a more athletic Paul George. Like Paul George he didn't have the quick twitch. He didn't have, like, coming out of Fresno State, Paul George was more of a methodical, he was long, but he was more methodical. Amen Thompson's like already athletic, but I think super twitchy.
And he's more of a point guard. And
yes, he can handle the ball really well. He can put the ball on the floor and get to the rim from the 3-point line really well. Like that's what I've noticed. He's not just a guy that can shoot from the outside. He's a guy that can do it all, like 3-level scoring. So,
and what do you think of his brother?
Azur, I think he'll go, 7 or 8? I don't know what you think about him.
I think he's a Wizards pick.
I think
that sounds like a bad.
That's a bad thing.
Yes, that's a bad thing. Have you seen his jumper?
Maybe the Pacers though. Like they already have Halliburton, who we could say anything about his shooting form.
If you select Ozzer Thompson over Taylor Hendricks, you should be fired immediately. The film I've watched on Taylor Hendricks, the guy's 6'9". He's a versatile defender.
So you think he should go over Amen Thompson at 4?
He should. No.
Okay.
No, 5. He should go 5.
So you think Amen Thompson should go 4?
Amen Thompson's the 4th best player in the draft.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Because again, I'm picking on upside.
He's explosive, dude. Like he's an elite athlete.
Well, I'm picking on up, and he's 6'7". That helps.
Yeah.
But Taylor Hendricks, a sleeper. Okay, this is a guy at UCF as a freshman, 42% from 3, 6'9", can play the 3 and the 4.
Next to Cade
3
Cunningham.
and D. He's a Trey Murphy, Mikal Bridges type, but more of a 4. He has some Jaren Jackson in him, some Anthony Davis defense, and he could shoot the 3 at a 43% clip and shot. He has some secondary shot 40%. Creation. Yeah, and he's 14 points per game as a freshman? It's 15. Yeah,
with 7 rebounds.
7 rebounds. This guy is legit. I do think that's the Pacers pick. I think that the Pistons, they are enamored with Cam Whitmore, who I also like, but Cam Whitmore doesn't have playmaking skills. He's not a great defender. He's like, how do I say this? He reminds me a lot of Aaron Gordon, Cam Whitmore, which is good.
So people are saying the Magic are going to get him.
But I'm saying, Cam Whitmore
the Magic have the next pick.
He's not an excellent 3-point shooter. He's a better 3-point shooter than Aaron Gordon, but like, he's strong. He can play the small ball 4 in the, he can play the 3.
He's a good cutter.
Good cutter.
Can cut off the
Excellent
ball.
cutter, by the way. Not a great playmaker, but can rebound very well at his size. Score at will. He's a better scorer than Gordon. I'll give him credit. But
not as good of a 3-point shooter, but
he's probably better than Gordon.
Better than Gordon. I'd say he's shot 34%.
I mean, Gordon's never been a threat. I think Whitmore can at least be a threat from 3-point range, and he's a little more quick than Gordon. But again,
40-inch vertical.
Yeah, I like Whitmore. I think Detroit's going to take him, but I would take Taylor Hendricks. I think Taylor Hendricks is a lock it in. I wouldn't say borderline star, but at least like what we think of Keegan Murray now. That's like Taylor Hendricks, but better
stretch 4.
Better defense.
He's a stretch 4.
Better defense.
Yeah,
and I think that is so pivotal in today's NBA to winning. Look what Keegan Murray did as a rookie to impact winning.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
His
brother's going to get drafted in the first round, I think, Chris.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's like a Clipper, probably.
Well, look, let me just say this. Like, everyone, if you're looking down the board, like, there's a lot of picks. Like we were saying, we said this, I don't know how many months ago. Remember we were talking about this, how there is a lot of wings in this draft class, and wings are going to be taken. Guys that can slot in, not necessarily superstars, guys that'll jump off the draft board, guys that'll be super athletic. There's a lot of wings in this lineup that can shoot and play defense. And for teams that want to be a contender, that's all they need. They need that high role player, not like a guy that'll just be at the end of the bench, but a guy that can fill a role like Bruce Brown. You're going to see a lot of players like Andrew Wiggins's, Bruce Brown's, Terrence Mann's, if you will. Guys that aren't going to be superstars, but will fit excellently in their role. Fit really good next to 2 stars or 1 star that'll get you to a title. Guys like Aaron Gordon, like I said, Andrew Wiggins. So if you look up and down, like Cam Whitmore can be that guy, Taylor Hendricks can be that guy, even Azur Thompson can be that guy where they don't have to be superstars, but they can fill in really nicely around a core, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think when we look at other prospects in this draft, like Ozer's a guy I would stay away from. I like his upside. I just don't like his jumper. And for me, like Amen, he's not a good 3-point shooter, but he has a better shot mechanics. That's important.
So do you think Azur goes before Anthony
I think the
Black?
Wizards pick him.
Anthony Black? Oh, no.
I think Anthony Black's going to the Magic.
Oh, really?
At 6.
Okay.
I love Anthony Black, by the way. I think Anthony Black is how do I say this? He's like a prospect Lonzo Ball, very similar.
Good IQ.
Excellent IQ. Excellent passer, excellent rebounder. Defense, already going to be an elite defender when he enters the league.
Yeah.
Just shooting. I mean, he has some shot creation. He's super smart. He's 6'7" point guard. I think the Magic can use him at
point.
He's
a good playmaker.
Bruce Brown. What are the Nuggets
Terrence
great
Mann.
at? Multi-positional versatility.
Yeah.
I think Black can play multiple positions. I think that's important. So I think he goes 6. Is there a guy you specifically think goes 6?
Well, mean, it's this whole top 10 is going to be kind of a jumble in terms of what the teams want to fit around their stars. Because if you look at all these teams, they basically have 1 or 2 stars besides San Antonio, but they're going to get one in Wembanyama. Like the Hornets have LaMelo Ball, so they're going to get a guy that fits good around him. Portland has Dame. I don't know if they'll trade him, but they have Shaedon Sharpe and Anthony Simons, fringe stars. You have the Rockets, who have a plethora of core guys that can be stars, Jalen Green, Alperen Şengün. So at 6, it's tough because the Magic already have so much, right? The Magic have basically their core is set. Like right now, it would just be overkill. Like you would just be adding a guy. I don't know how much playing time this guy would get because you already have wings in Franz, Paulo, Bol. You have guys at the center position. They have Markelle Fultz, who has turned into a really good star. So where would a guy fit around that already elite core, who I think is going to take a pretty big leap this year? I guess you could get a shooter like Cam Whitmore. I think Cam Whitmore can go to the Magic at 6 if you need just this knockdown guy that you can throw in the corner, play make if he needs to, but primarily to shoot. Because you already have guys like Franz that can put the ball on the floor and play make. You have guys like Markelle that will only play make, and he can get to the rim very well. Wendell Carter's a good shooter. So I think for them, it would probably be Cam Whitmore if he's available. I don't know if he'll be available, but they need a guy that's just shooter. Like you just need to be a shooter.
The Pacers need that too, because Hield isn't. How long is Hield going to be there? Like,
so that's why I don't think this notion that Azur Thompson's a good pick for them at 7. I don't think so. I think if Anthony Black's available at 7, take him. I think Anthony Black around Halliburton and Miles Turner.
Look, I don't
think any pick is good. Like it's so tough. Like
yeah,
you could if Cam Whitmore falls, good. He'll fit good with the Pacers. If Azor Thompson falls, great. It's good for the Wizards. Like I just think that you have such a plethora of talent at the top right now, and people are talking about Scoot and Victor Wembanyama, but these guys that are like good role players are going to be probably even more important. I think. To those teams.
I mean, that's Jarris Walker, right?
Yeah.
Jarris Walker has limited upside. He's not an excellent shooter. He doesn't do anything really excellent except he's huge. He's like Paul Millsap, good mid-range shooter, great defensive versatility. Mm-hmm. He's a championship role player. Yeah. And how important, you just mentioned it, Grant, the Bruce Brown Juniors, the KCPs, the Aaron Gordons, the Terrence Manns, the Rui Hachimura, Andrew Wiggins. That's a Jarris Walker, what he can do on both ends of the floor. And he's small. Yeah, he's 6'8", 6'9". He plays the 4. But he is so strong and so versatile
and only
defensively.
19.
He's 19. For all we know, he could start averaging 24 points per game. We don't know. He could turn into Jeremy Grant. Probably not, but I'm just saying that's a guy that is a safe pick, like a role player, like going to be in the league 10, 15 years and contribute to winning based on what I've seen. There's a lot of guys like that, like Anthony Black, but his upside is way higher, right? Dude, go down the list.
What about Keontae George? What do you think about him?
Upside.
Okay.
I think
where do you think he could slot it? Like the Jazz, maybe?
I think he could be in the G League within 2 years, or China, or I think he can be not China, but within 10 years, or he could be an NBA star. Yeah. I really think.
With Utah, he's kind of like a Jordan Clarkson almost.
The guy I think
so I don't know if they need that.
The guy I don't think is getting enough love is Cason Wallace, because his comp is Drew Holiday. This is a guy that's an elite defender. When you think about defenders, guys who are just ball hawks and constant pressure and make all the right decisions and can shoot a little bit and play make at a high level despite their limited quote unquote size. Cason Wallace, Drew Holiday, very similar. Someone is going to get extremely lucky taking Cason Wallace from Kentucky. This is a guy that a lot of people were saying, Davion Mitchell, someone's going to get lucky a few years ago. And he hasn't, but Davion Mitchell was also 22 at the time, or 21. Cason Wallace is 19 years old, right? This is a guy, if developed correctly in the right organization, can be not just a guy or a championship role player. He could be a star. Yeah. And I don't think people everyone's the lack of explosiveness, athleticism.
He's not great from three, but
he right decisions though.
Good
and for me, that's important. Who makes all the right decisions? Bruce Brown, like we said, those guys, role players. Championship role players.
I know we keep mentioning Bruce Brown, but you got to understand that's what teams are looking for now. They're looking for that prototype of a player.
Yeah, because you look at guys like George, who I say he could score at will. In my big board showed that his freshman year at Baylor, he averaged 15.3 points per game. 19 years old, 33.8% of three. He's like Bradley Beal, if that makes sense. I feel like that's his ceiling.
Prime Bradley Beal, not now Bradley.
Yeah, it's his ceiling. I mean, he can score at will, and he can probably do it right away in the league. But I don't think he's a great defender. I don't think he's a good playmaker. I don't think has a high IQ. But I think he can score at will, and that plays in the NBA. Nick Smith is very similar. Nick Smith player comp is Jamal Murray. But Jamal Murray, it took development for him to get to where he wanted to be. Right? Nick Smith is not the playmaker Jamal Murray is, but he could be. And he has all that sneaky, moves and, that bag offensively where he crafty combo guard.
He's a bucket getter. I mean,
the upside. So what are you drafting? Are we drafting on upside, or are we drafting on role players? Because I think it depends, right?
That's what I was going to say.
It depends on the team. The Lakers are looking for a mix of both, because at some point they're going to have to
Jordan Hawkins.
Yeah, but they're going to have to bridge the gap. I think they'll pass on Jordan Hawkins.
They need a shooter.
Yeah, but I think they'll take a guy like Kobe Bufkin. Michigan or Jet Howard. Rob Pelinka's Michigan State connection is big.
It's true. Max Christie last year, Michigan State.
So I think Kobe Bufkin's a guy that has extreme upside, 6'7" combo.
Please don't let the Warriors get Kobe Bufkin, please.
Yeah. And Jet Howard is a knockdown shooter like Klay Thompson. Yeah. He's a little more athletic. So I mean, you could go Derek Lively if they want another big, but he'll never be an offensive threat. But defensively, he's going to be good. Go down the list Grady Dick, championship role player. Christian Brown plus is Grady Dick.
Yeah.
And we saw Christian Brown contribute in year 1 in the finals in big minutes.
So where do you think he goes?
Grady Dick is a bucket. an absolute bucket. He's 6'8". He's Gordon Hayward plus. That's basically what he is.
Dallas Magic.
I mean, he's
11?
or Gordon Hayward at his very least, like 21 points per game in his prime somewhere. I think Orlando could take him at 11.
At 11. That's what I was
That's a good one. But he's my 13th
40%
ranked.
from three. Like I said, the Magic need a 3-point shooter like Cam Whitmore or Grady Dick.
Absolutely. And I think another guy people are sleeping on is Amari Bailey. I have him ranked as the 15th prospect in the draft. Now, everyone thinks he's 30th or second round.
People think he's second round.
He is a crafty guard, similar to Jalen Brunson, can do a variety of things offensively. Underrated playmaker, an elite on-ball defender. There really isn't a comparison to him, and he's extremely athletic, and he's taller than Brunson. Yeah. So, like, for me, this is what I wrote about Bailey. Like, people are sleeping on him, but I think he's a more athletic and bigger Jalen Brunson. I think, and he's better, I think that's just who he is. I mean, the moxie he showed on that shot, too.
Oh, yeah.
I drafted him just on that. I drafted him just, and his upside. I mean, he's young. He's young, dude. I don't think people realize this. Like, these guys are young. They're young.
That's what we keep saying about how how the draft has changed in a little bit where everyone's young. You got to give these guys plenty of years to develop, but also what fits your team the best now. It's not just best player available anymore. It's about, okay, we can get a role player that'll fill in nicely around our already young core. I could understand if you're the Spurs, you got to take Victor Wembanyama because you need that star. But, like, all these other teams that are in, like, there's basically – every team basically has a star, right, in the NBA? There's almost every team that has a star. Now that Victor Wembanyama is going to San Antonio, I think every team has a star. So now you just got to build around that. So you're not going to see a lot of guys that are – coming off the page as this superstar, next generational talent. You're going to see after probably the third pick, you're going to see a lot of guys that just fit the squad, fit around the stars that they already have.
That's important. I think an excellent example is Jalen Williams, who last year they said this is a guy who has versatility and upside on both ends of the floor,
complements
but
Shea
also
excellent.
Someone that can complement their stars, right? Like Gideon Shea, he's a perfect complement to them, right? It's a good example. I think that's what we're going to see with Indiana's going to be like, what is Tyrese need? He needs another shooter who can play some defense. Taylor Hendricks, like that's the first thing that comes to mind. For the Orlando Magic, it's like, okay, we don't really have a need.
Shooter.
Orlando?
When in doubt,
well, they can get that 11th.
Okay,
Grady Dick.
okay.
I'm saying get Anthony Black, like an upside at 6, or Taylor Hendricks or Cam.
They're
Taylor
loaded.
Hendricks they really can't get because they have Isaac coming back, and I don't know what they're going to do with him. And they already have.
Would you rather have Taylor Hendricks or Jonathan Isaac?
Well, but they also have Paolo as a 4.
That's what I'm saying. They're loaded with wings. That's why I don't know if getting another.
They're also
wing...
loaded with guards.
No, not really. Like
Suggs, Anthony,
but you can get rid of Anthony. I think they might look to do that because Fultz
Anthony's
is excellent.
good.
Fultz is excellent.
Fultz is the starting point.
Yeah, Fultz is so.
And
good.
I think Suggs showed some development toward the end of the year. I know you're not high on him.
Never
Traded
was.
Van Fleet for Suggs, didn't you?
Yeah, and PJ Washington.
Oh my gosh. I should have denied that trade. Another guy I like if you go deep down in the draft is like Julian Strother from Gonzaga, hit the big time shot.
Yeah.
It's just a shooter. It fits a role. Jaime Jaquez, never going to be the best player on a team, but a guy that is tough, can play defense, and can do every little thing. Yeah. Another guy, championship role player. That's Jaime Jaquez Jr. Right? That's a guy the Clippers should look at 30. He'd be the perfect guy in the Clippers. Am I wrong? The
Clippers are a lost cause, so anything they get, they'll probably just trade away or make a bad pick anyways. So,
and then
they make such bad.
Then
picks.
you go full on upside with a Leonard Miller late in the draft.
Oh yeah,
right. Like I think
or Chris Murray.
Well, Chris Murray's more, I think, of a finished product. Like he's going to be good in the NBA.
Yeah, just like his brother.
Well, his brother's better, but like Leonard Miller's could be a terrible NBA player, or it could be like amazing. Like you just don't know. Like you don't know. Like he has enormous upside, but he is like high risk, high reward, right? And then there's guys like Andre Jackson who decided to stay in the draft from UConn.
Yeah.
Didn't average a whole lot, but is more like a Dillon Wright. He gets steals, ball hawk defensively, great in transition. Smaller Josh Hart is a guy Andre Jackson is getting compared to. Another guy I like is the Luke Kennard plus, I call him, Brandon Podizemski from Santa Clara. A lot of people are like, oh, this guy, he's white, he's from Santa Clara. Like, who the heck is this guy? He sucks.
Who just got drafted last year from Santa Clara?
Jalen Williams. Who's not white, but he went to Santa Clara.
Just saying, like, that system.
Yeah, but Steve Nash was white. But not that matters. I'm just saying, like, I said he's this white guy. A lot of people don't take a lot of the white guys in this draft seriously, like Grady Dick will get, because of his last name too. Like they'll be like, yo, he's this guy. Who is this guy? But these two guys specifically can ball. And I think Podiyazemski's the best shooter in the draft. One of them, and he has shot creation skills to a level Kennard really never had. I know he showed it at Duke. Doesn't really show it in the NBA. This guy can play a little defense. He's 6'5", 6'6". I think he's a fit anywhere and has some upside. And then the guy I have 33 that could go as high as 9 is Bilal Coulibaly, who played on Metropolitans 92 with Victor. A lot of scouts saw him, and this is a guy who can I compare him to? Maybe like a Kuminga without the offense? That sounds terrible, like a terrible comparison. But, like, that's who he is right now. Jeremy Sochan without the defense.
Well, he's only 18, too. So.
Yeah, he could be amazing, and he could be back on Metropolitans 92 in a couple of years. You know, like
shot 45% from 3.
People say OG
really
Anunoby. But, he shot 45% from 3? No way.
Yes, he did.
Okay, maybe I'm lowballing this guy a little bit. Okay, now I see why he's going to 9th, although, you never know.
But that's a work in progress. Like, I don't know who would take him in that top, 15. Like,
another guy I like, Grant Nelson.
Yes!
7-footer from North Dakota State with the crossovers, the step backs. Can he play defense? Can he play defense? Not. He's like, he's
I don't care.
Porzingis. Discount Porzingis. And the guy you love, tell him, Grant. I love him too.
No, you see.
I love him too. Vukovic. Not Vucevic. Vukovic.
With a K.
With a K. And the guy plays exactly like
Dude, he could be a steal.
That guy? No. That guy's the Sengun of this draft, bro.
I love, man.
He's the Sengun of this draft, bro. This guy is legit. This guy is like no kidding around offensively. His defense needs some work, just like Vucevic, not a great defender.
But he moves better than Vucevic.
He moves, and his pull-up game is so much
better.
And so much more advanced at his age.
He scored 20 in the NBA draft combine games.
People forget Vucevic coming out of USC was a back-to-the-basket center who had some stretch. But he developed the stretch throughout his career, right? Like,
and he's 7 foot. This guy's who was the last Serbian 7-footer to turn into a good player? Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, Nikola Jokic. So
this guy scored.
What did he score?
This guy scored 21 points in 17 minutes in the NBA draft combine game.
Yeah, and he had some playmaking skills, bro. He had playmaking skills too.
At 7 feet, he's moving like Porzingis, but he's more built than Porzingis.
Absolutely. So I am extremely high on him, Vukovic. I mean, we could go down the list. I said Grant Nelson. There's Nikola Duricic from Serbia is good. He's basically a discount Nikola Jovic.
People are really going to draft a lot of Serbians now.
Well, but Jovic is great. They didn't play him. Jovic is good, dude. They needed to develop him.
Should have played Yurtseven.
Yeah, Yurtseven's. I told you, it's a different series.
Yurtseven was
People
kind of
call
a
me
steal
crazy.
Too.
Yurtseven was averaging 14 and 8 with good defense interiorly during COVID, and people were like, "Oh, Brandon!" Like they were making fun of me in the chat. You saw that?
Yeah.
I'm like, Omar Yurtseven can ball, bro. Would he have stopped Jokic? No, but he would have provided something more than
Cody Zeller.
Like who? Cody Zeller should not be in the NBA. I'm sorry. Like he shouldn't be in that guy. They had a lot of guys on the team that are like, this guy's in the NBA. Kyle Lowry's making $27 million, although he had a great game. Like Highsmith should have played more. That guy's good. Right? Okay. By the way, if I was a coach, and maybe this is not a good trait for a coach, after Vincent, the way he played those first 2 games, if I saw him miss 2 shots in the finals, yank, you're not coming back in. Highsmith, get in there and provide some offense.
I love D2 Player of the Year.
Dude, for me, I care about who's playing today. I don't care what you did in the past.
What have you done
who's
for me
gonna
lately?
help me lately? Right? And I don't care if it's a rookie. That's why I said with the Nuggets when we had our 2 pods ago, like, Peyton Watson, play him. Yeah. If you can do it. If someone's going to come in and guard Hero, it's Watson. Hero never played, but, like, Watson is a good defender. Same thing with Jovic. Dude, if I'm looking down the bench and I'm like, well, he's a rookie, I don't care. He can score. Put him in.
So what?
He hasn't played all year in the NBA. Put him in the finals. I mean,
you're already down
crazy.
3-1. Why not?
Exactly. And what did Spoelstra do? And there's the one thing I don't like about him. He did nothing. He's same guys. It's like, what, you're expecting a different result doing the same thing?
No. Denver already exposed them, and then they didn't play the young guys.
Exactly. But that's a whole separate thing. But my point is, Duricic is a guy that might get stalked like Nikola Jovic, but is uber talented. And by the way, excellent in transition. Excellent. Like a guy that is a cutter, I think cutting is so important in the modern NBA. We saw that with Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
We saw that with Vanderbilt's pretty good, although
That's
they
why
don't.
I told you,
he
like
wasn't
all
on the
these
court that much.
fringe guys that people kind of
Josh Hart.
passed on. Josh Hart. Like all these guys are really essential to contenders.
And another guy that is like that who doesn't have much upside but excellent cutter, Keontae Johnson from Kansas State. He had a great NCAA tournament with Mr. New York City, who obviously Marquise he's not going to get drafted because he's 5'8", but like he's a guy that could make the NBA. Like he's really good. Like he's box office. He's 5'8". He doesn't play much defense, but he tries. He's got heart. And believe me, he would have helped Miami the other day. He would have helped Miami. And I mean, he's okay. So let me just say that right now. And the second thing is another guy a lot of teams I think should take a look at. I know it sounds crazy because of the past and the hype. What I'm gonna say, Amoni. I like Amoni as a prospect.
Really?
I'm sorry, I do. I'm sorry.
So who do you think should take? Like, who do you think?
Second round.
Just like some guy. It's like some team that just
to me,
wants to
it's
take
like
a flyer.
Like Boston Jr. Fell to the second round. Was a top 5 prospect going into
30.
No, that's too high for a guy that risky. Because Bates could still be. He had that off the court stuff. He could still be a head case.
Yeah.
Like, he could turn into John Morant. You just don't know.
During the end of his college year, he turned into a really good scorer.
He can play basketball, bro. Like he has a skill set that is. I don't think people realize like guys like this guy he's good, but he can help my team.
I think he can
this
be
guy
like
has a skill set that can translate.
His player comparison is Jordan Clarkson.
Amoni Bates, but Amoni Bates is 6'10".
But like I'm saying, play style, like
they
in
play
terms of
very
like
similar.
what they can do on the court.
Amoni
Jordan
Bates plays like a guard at 6'10". Like a lot of people say,
and a lot of people like Jordan
Clarkson.
Clarkson. A lot of people covet Jordan Clarkson.
The Clippers could use him.
The Clippers could use a lot.
They need offense, don't they?
No, they need defense. They need a defensive guy. That's why I don't know who they take at 30.
Yeah, another guy like Colby Jones from Xavier, young junior,
late
2021,
probably.
Late first round. This is a guy who is
Kings maybe. Ooh,
he get knocked because he doesn't do anything absolutely elite. Colby Jones, this is what I have. This is my scouting report. He's a ball hawk defensively, forces turnovers at a high rate, is extremely gifted playmaker and shot creator that excels with the ball in his hands in transition. His off-ball defensive IQ is also one of the best in the draft, and he's a team leader that is vocal on both ends of the floor. He can contribute right away, and despite him being a junior, he's just 20 years old and has more upsides than a lot of scouts give him credit for. At the very least, Jones should be a very good combo guard for years to come and should fit right in on a contending team that needs a plug-and-play combo guard in the rotation.
Kings. Get him.
Yeah. And what pick? He's my 24th ranked prospect.
The Kings are the 24th pick.
That is so weird. And they're going to take him. Watch them take him, too.
Yeah, they need him.
That's a guy that, because Davion Mitchell.
And he shoots 38%.
As much as I love Davion Mitchell, as much as I love him, offensively, he does not fit with the rest of the team.
But imagine having both.
Yeah,
they need as much defense as possible.
But they don't play defense. Yeah. But Davion is, what was he drafted for? Defense, right? So Colby Jones, another guy, reminds me of Josh Hart, not as big, but or no, he has the same height. Maxwell Lewis, another guy, like a Trey Murphy type. Maxwell Lewis, yeah. I mean, this is an elite 3-point shooter. Why did I not put his comp? I'm looking at my
35%
thing. I have to update my
30.
article. Comp Trey Murphy. What the heck were you doing, Brandon? I mean, there were 60 players, and I was editing myself this time. No, in all
7-foot wingspan.
Yeah, I mean, this Pepperdine, you'll look at it, you'll be like, whoa, but you know who I think is pretty good from Pepperdine is Kessler Edwards, who never got opportunities anywhere.
He was on the Kings.
Yeah, but they should have played him. He can shoot.
He did. He played a little bit, actually.
He can play basketball.
Yeah,
he was
on
good
the Nets.
Brooklyn.
Played good.
He was good on Brooklyn. There's so many guys that, and when Adam Silver's like, oh, we can't expand the teams. What are you talking about? There's so many guys in the G League, like Boston Jr. If you allowed him to play 30 minutes a game, like a lot of it is minutes, dude. If you allow Boston Jr. to play 35 minutes a game and make him a focal point of the Clippers offense, he's a 20-plus point per game guy.
Not gonna do that.
Yeah, but they should. For me, it would go like this. If I see, okay, perhaps we win a championship, but they got to start bridging the gap at some point, right? These guys are old.
Yeah.
So Kawhi and George, fine, as the top 2 options. Powell third, that's cool. Okay. 4th option should be Brandon Boston Jr. You got to develop.
Diabate.
I don't care.
He could be their backup
big.
Get
guys touches.
He could be their backup big.
Get guys touches.
There's your backup big.
Look at Reeves, bro. What happened to Reeves' development the more touches he got?
Frank Vogel let him play, and he started to get better and better and better and better.
Well,
and better.
then Darvin Ham let him play, and he got better. And Rui Hachimura, why did he develop? He played. He played. How simple. I
just don't get organizations like.
Jerry West must be so like him and Lawrence Frank must be yelling at each other
because
I can't imagine either of them, who are brilliant basketball minds, by the way, coveted executives. Lawrence Frank.
They draft young, great players and they don't play them.
Why don't you play? If I'm Lawrence Frank, I would go into Ty Lue's office and I'd be like, Ty Lue, you're fired if you do not play Boston.
Even Terrence Mann didn't play a lot. And Terrence Mann, we just mentioned, and some of these guys that can convert.
Terrence Mann is a guy I would love
contribute
on the
to a championship.
Give me him on the Lakers. Like
exactly.
Give me Terrence Mann. Like, I'm sorry, Terrence Mann is.
He's gonna leave. He's gonna leave at some point, and he's gonna be coveted.
Yeah, he's gonna leave. Yeah, and look. People are like, oh, he's 28 almost. Like,
don't care,
dude. I don't think people realize Bruce Brown's what, 28, 26, 27. I don't care about age. I care if you can play basketball. Nick Batum is 35.
He's a great role player.
He almost led you that comeback down 30. Yeah. In the elimination game. That was by the way, your heart was probably in that game like.
I already gave up at that point.
They're like the worst team at like holding you right here
and then blowing it.
No, and then hold on, but then they give you life and then they blow it again. Then they give you life.
That's worse than just not giving me life at all.
Should be a Pistons fan.
Oh God.
At least you know you guys.
At least I know,
suck, and then you have somewhat of a future.
Rockets maybe.
The Rockets.
But we got to get out of here.
I know we got to get out of here. But last guy I wanted to say, another guy a lot of teams are going to look at, Chris Murray. You like him. I think he's a plug-and-play shooter. Like his brother Keegan to a lesser extent. I call him discount Keegan Murray. That's my comp for him. He's
discount of his brother.
Murray. He's good, but like,
what if the Heat got him?
It's possible.
Dang.
Another guy I'm not high on is Jalen Hood-Schifino. Everyone loves him. I'm not high on him. I'm not high on him. But anyways, that's our draft. Marcus Sasser, I love too. By
Jordan
the way.
Hawkins, Lakers.
They're gonna pass on him. I'm telling you right now. They're gonna pass on him.
It's like JJ Redick. Dude.
They're gonna pass on him. All right, we'll leave it there. Baller Sports Dialogue. Thank you so much for listening to our draft special. It's Brandon Deutsch and Graham Mona. Thank you guys so much.